Hi, everybody. Can you believe they let me on the stage after all those amazing speakers? That's crazy. So, real quick, I just want everybody to do me a favor. Can everybody stand up for 1 second? If you can, if you're able to. 1,000. Okay, everybody sit back down. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were coachable because I like coaching people who enjoy being coached. Okay, so you guys can all sit down. We're all good to go. Unless you want to keep stretching your legs, it's totally fine. Is it too close? Is it good? Okay. So today I want to talk about the greatest questions to real estate. Super vague, right? But mindset, motivation. I do a lot of business on Oahu. And I just wanted to kind of list some questions after I talk about myself and answer it for you guys. I guess questions that you should be asking yourself in order to motivate and take your business to the next level as a real estate agent. So who the heck is Justin Tapara? If you can even read this, I guess I'll read it for you. I am 29 and a half years old. That was about 2 weeks ago. And I'm proud to say that I practice what I preach. I own 6 properties on the island of Oahu. And it's not that much, but I know it's still cool to say. Born and raised on the island of Oahu, I graduated from Kamehameha Schools, Kapalama, Oahu, Kimoa, 2013. And then I was fortunate enough to go to college and a golf scholarship. And I graduated in 2018. So, really cool. I like to share this. I bought my first property in college at 22 years old, delivering pizza. And I use this all the time with my first-time home buyers. I'm like, anybody can do it. It's just how bad do you want it? I'll tell you a super quick story regarding this. I remember learning about all the benefits of owning a home, especially I was listening to a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. I was trying to get my foot into the real estate door. And all I knew is I had no money in the bank, but I had a car and I could make $30 an hour. So I did the calculation. I'm like, I need $30,000 for down payment. I can probably qualify for a mortgage. I've been filing my taxes. So during the summer, I calculated May 15th to August 15th. It's coming up very soon. I have, 12 weeks? If I could work, well, I thought about it. How many hours are in a week? 144, is that right? Somebody check my math. Check my math. So I'm like, I could easily work 100 hours a week. It's enough time to sleep. Only thing is that where I delivered pizza, I had to drive across the island. I lived in Mililani, but I drove to Kailua because that's where the good tips were, on the base. Didn't want to work in Mililani. Everybody's cheap there, even though they live in nice houses. That's where I live. So anyway, I also had to convince my manager, my employer, that I was worth the overtime. That, hey, look, I want to work 100 hours a week. I got big goals. I told my manager I'm trying to buy a property. I literally 3, 4, 5 nights a week would sleep in my car in front of the store with a toothbrush. I'd brush my teeth, rinse off my armpits the next morning. I would work, 15, 16 hours a day, making $1,000 in tips $3,000 a week in tips every single week. People thought it was crazy. And then by the time I went to school, I got an accepted offer on my first property in Mililani, a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Bought it for $250 and 3 years later sold it for $450. And that was an incredible investment. And that made me really want to get into real estate besides a couple of other factors, which I'm going to talk about pretty soon. But I have been licensed in real estate since January 1, 2019. I did not want to pay the 2018 licensing fees. That's the real reason why. I started at Century 21, but I'm really proud to have worked at that company. Nothing bad to say. I'm just also very, very proud to have joined eXp Realty like in June 2023. So I've been at the company for a year and a few months. It's been life-changing, really. I don't know if you guys ever heard this from Instagram or if anybody knows me. I paid Century 21 $206,000 in 2022. So I'm like, whoa, if I can get that down to 16,000, that'd be pretty cool. I can make a little bit more money. So to date, I had Sam look it up for me. According to the MLS, it says I've approximately sold 300 units or 180 million. So only 5 years, or almost 6 years in the business. And I saw a stat, the average agent helps 7 families per year. So if anybody asks me, because I look kind of young, I'm like, I have like 40 years of experience, if you really want to look at it that way. I'm the master at objections. You think age is going to stop me? No chance, man. Let's go. Oh, I've been married since November 10th, 2024. I don't know how people can do this crazy job without the best partner in the world. So if you're single out there, my biggest advice is go find an amazing spouse. Let's kick your ass. So, side note, the most expensive event I've ever thrown but it was a client event, 200 clients there. So if the IRS asks, that's what we're going to say. And I'm also the team leader of what I believe is the #1 real estate team in Hawaii, Team Tapara. So I have my notes. It's pretty detailed. But the reason is I love to speak. I hate speaking on stage, but I love to talk. So if I don't have notes, I'm going to talk way too much. So don't mind me, okay? So the first question, if you want to take your business to the next level, is what pisses you off? Because we're all trying to figure out where do we want to go? What's our why? Where do we want to be next year? But what are you scared of? What fears do you have when it comes to this business? For me, it's my dad. Screw that guy. I'm just kidding, guys. I came from a very unfortunate background. My parents were extremely successful. Financially, they're married for 35, 32 years, something crazy. My life was so easy. It was so good growing up. I got everything I needed, got everything I wanted. And I go to these seminars and I see these amazing speakers on stage, underdog stories. Went to jail, didn't have parents. They came from nothing. They couldn't even provide electricity and water in their house. I had all of that. I was cool with that. But I feel like I have a huge shadow of expectation because my father, he was in the real estate industry and still is technically for 35 years. I don't know if you guys know Rafael Tapara. Like apparently he's the GOAT, the greatest of all time. And my mother, Shannon, who's not on here, just couldn't find a picture of her in time. I was focusing on my wedding. She's also a top mortgage broker. We own a mortgage company and they make millions every year. So I'm like an overdog story. Is that a real word? Sam, can you Google that for me? So what pisses me off is that when I got into real estate, I got to shadow this guy every day. I mean, this guy makes like $2,000 an hour. I can't afford him, but I got it for free. So I'm very blessed to have learned from the best in the industry. And as I got more successful, there's certain people that would either tell me or I would hear rumors of, oh, that guy's just lucky because he knows Rafael Tapara. And the more successful I got, the more luckier I was. That pisses me off. I'm like, screw those guys. So whatever it is that pisses you off, like think of a doubter or a hater in your life. Somebody had to have said something bad about you and your career. Like, for example, a lot of new agents who are trying to get into business or have just recently got into the business, maybe one of their friends or family are like, you're so crazy to go into this industry where there's 8,000 agents. You're not going to make it. It's too saturated. Well, my advice to you is get a piece of paper out, write their name down, write down what they said. And anytime you don't feel like waking up at 6 a.m. to go to the gym, you don't feel like making those phone calls, you just feel like giving up and quitting because, man, sorry, guys. I wanted to quit many times in my career. My dad was just very, very hard on me. But I take that paper out of my pocket. I read what that mother effer said. And I'm like, I'm either going to do two things. I'm going to prove them right or I'm going to prove them wrong. Put that back in my pocket. That guy's wrong today. Thank you. Sorry. Why am I so emotional? Even my own wife said I was going to cry at my wedding. Next question. I'll try to hurry up. Oh, good job, Sam. Didn't even say anything. That's a good team right there. So what is your definition of success? It's such a general question, but before I answer this, you just have to understand, what does a top real estate agent, like what do they earn in this industry individually? Let's count individuals with an assistant. I mean, according to Century 21, when I was there, the top agent in the world did 1.5 million and I worked with them in the same brokerage. Pretty crazy, right? And by the way, Dad had 600 agents under him. So imagine he was at EXP 10 years ago. So you need to understand where you are in sales volume today. And then look at where the top producer is. If you're not where they are, you just don't know enough, right? But set realistic goals. It can be 30-day goals, 60-day goals, 1-year goal. Doesn't matter. Make a goal and clearly define where you are and where you want to be. Let's just say, for example, you sell 5 homes per year, but you want to be able to sell 10 homes next year or 20 homes. The first question is, how are you going to get there? That's the easy one. Multiple people already gave you the answer. It's not how, but who. So I'm not talking about that today. But the biggest and most important question is why. And I always hear and have heard people talk about their whys. And when I first got into this industry, it was because, wow, look at how amazing my first real estate investment has been working out for me. I want to create generational wealth for my future generations. I know it's redundant, but I recently learned, even probably in the last 6 months, from a very, very good sales coach. He said, you got to look at your 7 levels deep. And I've never heard of this before. I don't know if anybody else heard of it, but it's like, okay, why do you want to achieve this goal? Maybe it's because you want to make more money. And this exercise, by the way, you have to do it by yourself. Don't start doing it now. That's a mistake I made at a seminar. Like, be in a room by yourself. It's going to take 30 minutes because if you do it too quickly, you're going to be running in circles. So why do you want to make more money is the second level. I want to provide for my kids. Why do you want to provide for your kids? Because maybe my parents did a good job providing for me. I want to do the same. Anyway, when you get to your 7th level, you'll finally learn what your real why is. And I didn't learn my real why until this year, my 6th year in business. So it's never too late to learn it. My why that I learned is I want my children to look to me like I'm the hero. Because that way they'll listen to me and they'll take my advice. Because I feel like what I'm building, how my parents have built it, it's something that you can take and run with it. You can make it better. But if your parent's not your hero, then you're not going to do it. If you don't like them, you're going to want to do something else. Fortunately for me, I love my parents. So that was cool. Now, you got to remember that sales is very competitive. So no matter what your why, what your how is, what your goal is, don't forget it's competitive. Next slide, sorry. Did you do it before I asked? It's cool. What are you doing to beat the competition? Because we're writing these questions down. This is gold right here. So I shifted my mindset a couple of years ago when I went to a very, very cool seminar in Arizona. And he explained business and sales in particular as our new sport. Right? When we were kids, if you played sports or anything competitive, you always wanted to practice. I played golf, and every day I would practice my putting, swing, my mental game. But then when people get into business, they're like, oh, I'm just going to half-ass it. It's just a job. I don't need to work super hard. But everybody's trying to beat you. Why aren't you trying to beat them? I believe that 99% of real estate agents don't just get into business straight out of high school or college. They either have had a W-2 job or they continue working the W-2 job when they first get their license. So the analogy I try to draw is W-2 versus 1099 is like having a fierce lion stuck in the zoo versus the fierce lion dropped in the wild. Because in the zoo, you're fed twice a day, the exact amount of food you're supposed to get. And if you're still hungry, well, too bad, so sad. I heard somebody say they had a cap on their income. That's like living in a zoo. But then when you go from a W-2 job, here's a junk thing about work or living in the zoo is you don't ever learn how to hunt or you forget. So now you get your license and it only enables you to go into the wild. You can go wherever you want, do whatever you want. You can eat what you kill, but you don't know how to hunt. And you look around and you're like, whoa, look how fast that lion is. That guy killed him so fast. Those guys got 200 lions in their pack. How am I going to compete with them? Well, it's all about self-development, training to get better. You got to learn how to hunt. And I got lucky during COVID, to be honest. I was not good at retaining leads. My communication skills were subpar, in my opinion. And when the rates jumped up, I felt like my business slowed down so much and I had to really look in the mirror and say, what can I improve to be able to hunt and kill more? Because the opportunities are less, but there's still enough to eat. It's just something's wrong. And that's why I realized communication. So, because I talked too much, it's only 5 minutes, 42 seconds left. Thanks, Dylan. So I realized I want to focus a lot on communication. So I would say the beginning of 2023 especially, for the first 3, 4, 5 months, I didn't make any money. It sucked. I didn't fire anybody because I knew I was going places. So I continued to pay my people their pay. I had to sell 1 or 2 of my properties just to make ends meet. Pretty crazy stuff. But during those 3 or 4 months, when everybody was complaining, I was training. That's a saying. Train or complain. Every single night. Before that, I learned how to memorize a script because my father always told me how important it was to memorize a script to an objection. I don't want to sign a buyer contract. I already got an agent. I don't have the money, whatever it is. But I never learned how to learn. So I learned how to learn from another seminar, and what they taught me was when you go home, spend 2 to 3 hours training. And the first thing you do is, at the top of a piece of paper, you write down the objection that you want to conquer. And then from there, if you have a script, cool, write it down. If you don't have one, ask your team leader, message me on Instagram, ask ChatGPT, whatever. It doesn't matter. You just have to have a script. Write it down 10 times by hand. And trust me, your hand's going to hurt. But then on top of that, when you're done writing it down, stand up in front of the mirror. First time I ever did this was a year and a half ago. Practice it 100 times in the mirror. Look at yourself. Do you like the way you look? What'd you buy from that guy? Do your hands look cool? Does your face look good? Is your posture good? And what I learned doing this almost for an entire year, 2 or 3 hours a night, it sucked. I got really good at speaking. And when I got really good at speaking and really good at handling objections, I was more willing to make those phone calls because I wasn't afraid that someone was going to say, oh, well, my auntie is a realtor, or, oh, well, I'm just not interested. Like, I got all the answers. They taught me to have 10 different ways to handle the top 10 objections. I got 20 different ways to handle the top 20 objections. I dare anybody today to find me and test me. I will conquer it, I promise. Oh my gosh, did we get to the next one already? See, I just go over my own slides. Are you an exceptional speaker? Exceptional public speaker is what I was going to talk about. And I won't spend too much time on this slide, but public speaking isn't speaking in front of 100-something people. If you can master the art of speaking in front of 1, 2, 3 people, this is easy. Let me ask you guys a question. How many ums have you guys counted so far? Because my team has a task today. They have to tally it. How many tallies you got? 0 for real? See, I owe them $100 for every single vocal pause that I do. And it's not that having vocal pauses is bad. The most successful real estate agent that I know, my father, I pointed out to him a year ago that, hey, you say you know every other sentence a lot. But he is the most respected person that I know. So it's not bad to have vocal pauses. I just believe that if you want to be the best in the industry, you got to look at what's everybody doing and how do I do something different. Everybody really likes to talk. Everybody's outgoing. But how can they be outgoing and like to talk and sound like I know what I'm talking about, sound different than the other agents? For me, it was eliminating vocal pauses. So I was able to eliminate those vocal pauses because I don't need to think about what I need to say or what I want to say anymore. I have 1,000 word bank of word tracks in my head. It's like playing Tetris. I wish you could see it in my head. It's crazy. When I'm in active conversation with a client or even just a regular person, they're just talking to me. Objection, boom, 1, 2, 3. I got my game all solved. I'm gonna give you the answer with no hesitation. And now that I feel like I mastered, or I've come to the point where I've mastered communication at a level I'm happy with, I'm always trying to get better. I'm never satisfied. You have to understand, like, there's non-negotiables when you're trying to be the best in the industry. Cool. So ask yourself, what are your non-negotiables? It's crazy how in life we have all these non-negotiables. We don't even realize they're non-negotiable. Like when you wake up in the morning, does your mouth taste disgusting? Because mine does. Brushing your teeth is a non-negotiable. You don't have to think about it. It just happens. If you have children, I don't have children, but if you have children, picking up your kids after school, that's a non-negotiable. It's going to happen. It's not like, oh, well, I'll hold off for tomorrow. They can sleep at the bus stop. Right? Those are non-negotiables. But why do we take our non-negotiables? Why don't we take them seriously in our business? Making those 50 phone calls, passing out cards, training every day to get better. Did you guys know there's only 3 things you got to remember to do in sales, at least in the sales part of the business? It's either selling something, finding something to sell, or training to get better. The rest of it's easy. So I want to give, I think a lot of agents out here want to learn, like, what were my non-negotiables in the first year of my business that really helped me a lot. And this is my dad's idea, not mine. Every day before I came home, I had to give out 21 business cards. I also have to read the purchase contract every single day. You know how long it takes to read the purchase contract? As I do. Hour, 30 minutes. It sucks. If you want to actually understand it, 2 more minutes, Dylan. Thank you. Now I'm lost. Just kidding. And also sitting at least 2 open houses every weekend. That was the primary source of my business. I hated door knocking. I hated cold calling. But being able to sit at an open house, those people are literally coming to you for real estate. That's like the easiest lead ever. Why wouldn't you do it? I was sitting 4 open houses every weekend. 10 to 1, 2 to 5, 10 to 1, 2 to 5. I'm psycho, sorry. So a big help for me though was having accountability. My father, he was the best at holding me accountable. Every single day, it was so annoying. Did you do your lead generation today? Did you pass out your 21 cards? I remember coming home one night. I have 7 escrows as an individual agent, my 9th month in business. I come home exhausted at 11 o'clock at the office. And he goes, hey, did you pass out your 21 cards today? No, Dad, I'm going to make it up tomorrow. He goes, no, you're not. He said, last I checked, Walmart is open 24/7. So, guys, you want to learn how to master a stranger? You can't just walk up to somebody and give them the business card. That is so weird, right? But if you walk up to somebody and say, whoa, is that the toothpaste you always get? Because I'm just wondering, I was going to get this one, but making conversation. And then I'm like, oh, by the way, I'm an agent, real estate agent. It's all in Mililani. So now, like, even to this day, when I go back to Mililani Walmart or the gas station or wherever, people are like, hey, Justin, the real estate guy. I didn't get any business for passing out my cards, but it helped me be more comfortable with talking to people in person and just building a brand. So last couple things is my non-negotiables today as like a real agent. Every day has to be the best day of my life, no matter what. When somebody calls me, I don't know if anybody here called me recently, but the first thing an agent will ask me is, hey, how are you doing? Best day of my life. So glad you asked. And they always laugh. Why? Because nobody else does that. I want to be unforgettable. People who call me, they want to save my number. I sent them my number. And then while they're laughing, I'm laughing to the bank. No, I'm just kidding. While they're laughing, I politely tell them, you know what? I know it sounds funny because you probably don't hear it very often, but every morning when I wake up, I make a non-negotiable agreement with myself to have the best day of my life. And I can't lose. I have the best day of my life. And if today is the best day of my life and tomorrow's going to be better, I can't lose. No matter what life throws in my way, I'm always having the best day of my life. I work on my business at least 2 hours a day. I'm so busy with whatever. I don't have an organized timeline like people here. I just do whatever I can in the 24 hours I got. Every day I either get a contract signed or I contact 50 people. Thank God I sign a contract almost every day. I wear my name tag every day. Look at my team. Look at my team down there. Name tag, name tag, name tag, name tag. Your name tag's coming in. I got 10 name tags. No excuses. And lastly, paying my office rent. That's non-negotiable. So that's the end of my little thing here. I wish I had 10 hours to talk to you guys, but next slide, extremely important, Sam. So I am desperate, guys. I've been at 2,990 followers for like 4 months. Question? Yeah, can everybody, at least 13 of you, thank you. Can 13 of you follow me, please? That's my Instagram right there. I just need 13 of you to follow. And I promise anybody who follows me today, I will follow you back. Because I don't believe in making followers on Instagram. I believe in making friends. That's a trick to getting followers. 3,000, wait, let me check. Hold on. Okay. My phone on airplane mode. Oh, shit. Okay. That's the wrong camera. 1, 2, 3. Everybody, let's go. Do I have 3,000 followers, Sam? Let's go. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Dylan. Thank you.